Hey there! Welcome to Story Time. I'm so happy to see you, and I'm so glad that you are deciding to join me today. Today, we are reading Body Boundaries Make Me Stronger. So, if this is your first time joining Story Time, what we like to do is we like to go and get in our comfortable spot before we start reading. So, why don't you go and get your comfortable spot? And I'll get our book ready. All right, I'll see you over there. All right, friends, I'm glad to see you made it to your comfy spot. So, like I said, we're reading Body Boundaries Make Me Stronger by Elizabeth Cole. Are you ready to get started? And remember, I might ask you some questions. I might need your help. So, are you ready to help me? All right, thanks a lot. Let's get started. Nick was having fun running around the playground and sliding down the slide from top to the ground. But all the fun was spoiled by a boy named Ben who started tickling Nick over and over again. Oh, we see him going down the slide. And yeah, he's got him around the waist. So, does it look like our friend is having a lot of fun? No, look at his face. What does he look like? Yeah, he looks like, hey, why are you doing that? All right, let's keep reading. Ben was poking little Nick until it got to be too much. Nick frowned at Ben. He didn't like that type of touch. So he took his toys and he ran home straight away, unaware that another surprise was on the way. Oh, he's got another surprise. What do you think it's going to be? Oh, let's find out if you're right. Your favorite aunt is coming, his mom excitedly said. But instead of being happy, little Nick bowed his head. He's like that. He started making excuses that sounded weird and silly. It's napping time. It's bathing time. I don't feel well, really. Nick's mom noticed he was acting upset and a bit strange, too. She said, "What's wrong, honey? There's something bothering you." Nick never lied to his mom and he never lied to his dad, so he decided to tell them what made him upset and sad. Oh man, what do you think is making him upset and sad? I bet it has something to do with boundaries. Let's find out. Oh, there's his mom and dad. Oh man, there's his friend that's tickling him. And there's his aunt. And what do we notice about? She's squeezing him really tight, isn't she? Yeah, look at the look on his face. All right, let's read. I don't feel comfortable when Ben starts to tickle and poke. For me, it's not a nice feeling, but for him, it's just a joke. And I love my dear auntie. Please don't get me wrong, but her kisses are endless, and her hugs are so strong. Yeah, right. You can see it in his face. They're so strong. All right, let's see what he does. Nick's mom said, "Oh, honey, you have the right to choose. If you don't like the kissing and tickling, you can sure refuse. Kicks, punches, pinches, pushes are not okay for you, but sometimes even pleasant touches are unwelcome too." Yeah, we sure don't like the kicks, the punches, the pinches, and the pushes, do we? No, we don't like those for sure. But yeah, sometimes we don't like things like hugs and we don't like people tickling us. And maybe sometimes we don't even like things like high fives. But like his mom said, we get to choose. So let's see what he does. If someone touches you and you want them to let you go, remember your body is yours and you can say no. With kind words, you can explain to everyone so they understand. Instead of hugs or kisses, they can high five or shake your hand. And remember, you get to choose. But let's practice that. Your body is yours and you can say no. Can you show Mr. Nathan how you can say no? No. And maybe you can say, hey, I'd love a high five, or I'd love a handshake, right? If you don't want a hug or you don't want kisses, you can't see your body boundary, but it doesn't mean it isn't there. It's your personal space, and you get to decide if you want to share. Everyone should respect that. At school, on the bus, or at the zoo, you can become uncomfortable if someone gets too close to you. Yeah, if you're all up in somebody's face, do you ever feel that? Where you're like, you're a little bit too close. And look, what do you notice about our picture here that represents the boundary? Oh, yeah, you're right. The lines for the people, the kids giving the high five, and then there are the lines where the guys are giving the handshake, and that represents our boundary. I bet we're going to learn more about what that might look like too. If someone comes right up to you and talks too close to your face or breathes down your neck, they are invading your personal space. Think of your body boundary as an imaginary bubble, and if anyone tries to break in, it can cause some trouble. They look like they're up to trouble with the smiles on their faces, don't they? Well, let's see what's on the next page. Oh, look, there's his bubble. Let's pretend we got our bubble around us. And that's to keep everybody at a safe distance that feels comfortable to you, right? And so let's keep reading. All right, where are we at? We're at the beach, you're right. And they're building a sandcastle. Let's see what we learn about boundaries at the beach. It's the same with your private parts hidden beneath your underwear. No one is allowed to touch or see them. No one should even dare. If someone tries to do it, someone you know or a stranger, immediately run and tell an adult you are in danger. So yeah, and we're going to talk about ways that you can run and do that if you need to coming up in the story. And I've got an activity for you with your adult later on. So we're definitely going to learn more about this. Nick asks, "What about the doctor I visited the other day?" Nick's dad smiled. "Doctors keep us healthy, and that's okay. They take care of our bodies to keep us strong as can be. And when you have a checkup, you go with your mom and me." And so he always goes with one of his parents to go to the doctor. And sometimes doctors need to make sure that everything is okay with our bodies and that we are healthy and strong. And how do I know I'm in danger if a person is kind? How do I know their intentions and what is on their mind? Little Nick was confused, but his mom made it all clear. There are signs that you can recognize, my dear. If our neighbor pats you on the head because you are polite, or your teacher gives you a sticker for being good, that's all right. But if someone offers to touch you in exchange for sweets, remember it's a trap, especially from strangers on the streets. Yeah, we just have to know who is the person that is invading the boundary, right? And what are they trying to do? So you get to talk with your adults on what that looks like for you, okay? Make sure you guys have a conversation about what that looks like for you, because for everybody, it's different. Oh, see, there's our friend trying to give him candy for free. Oh, you're right. That's not candy, that's ice cream. Yeah, and then look, he's got what's behind him? That's a scary looking wolf, isn't it? All right, let's keep reading. If this kind of thing ever happens, the best thing that you should do is talk to someone on your safety team and they will help you. Safety team? Nick was curious. His eyes had a gleam. That sounds as powerful as some kind of superhero team. And who do we think are in these pictures here? Yeah, it looks like one of his teachers, and we see his mom and dad. Oh, and let's see what it says here. It's made up of people you trust, like me, your mother. It could be a teacher, a grandparent, or an older brother. If by any chance the people on your list are not nearby, tell another adult or leave that place without being shy. So, okay, if something happens and you don't have someone on your safety team around saying, make sure you leave as quickly as you can so you get out of the situation. But do you know who's on your safety team? Can you think of anybody right now? Maybe it's somebody on the list. Maybe, unlike our friend in the story, it might be an aunt, right? It could be an aunt, an uncle. Those are some people that they didn't mention. But remember, I have an activity coming up where you get to talk with your adult about who's on your safety team. Nick took all his parents' advice. It was wise and clever, and he began to act on it. He was feeling safer than ever. Not ashamed to speak up, little Nick had no secrets to hide because he knew his safety team was always by his side. And so, look, it's his friend that liked to tickle him down the slide, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, you're getting too close. And look, it's his aunt, and she's come to visit. And remember last time she had him in a tight hug and he didn't like that. And they're doing something different this time. And you can see the boundary, remember, with the lines on the hands. And when Nick's favorite aunt came to visit them for a while, Nick asked her for a high five and she did it with a smile. Respecting others' body boundaries became Nick's mission. So he did not tickle, hug, or kiss someone without permission. Do you know what permission means? It means that if we want to give someone a hug, we have to ask first. If we want to give somebody a high five, we need to ask first. It's always about asking first, right? Because then they can tell us no. And then we can do something else that's better for them and us. But we have to always ask first. And he made it through the day. And now he's getting ready for bed. And his mom gives him a kiss on his head. Nick found some touches to be unpleasant and impolite, so he refused any of the ones that seemed not quite right. But some touches made Nick happy, calm, and fuller of bliss, especially his mother's tender caress and her good night kiss. All right, friends. Thank you so much for joining me during today's story time. It's been a fun one, and I hope that you enjoyed it. We've got an activity coming up. We've got an activity and a song that are coming up. So make sure and stay on so that you can listen to the song and we can talk about your safety team in the activity. All right, I'll see you over there. All right, friends, got our song ready to go. So make sure you got enough space if you want to sit or you want to move around and dance so that you don't hit any of your friends who might be around. All right, here we go.
Hopscotch! Some people like hugs or standing close, teasing or tickling while others don't. High fives, handshakes, kisses, sharing milkshakes.
Things people do and say with others are not okay.
Your feelings are important no matter your size, so you can set boundaries to clarify. And you can say,
please stop, I don't like that.
I'm feeling uncomfortable.
I need more space, not around me.
Don't take it personally, that's just a boundary. That's a boundary.
Please stop, I don't like that.
I'm feeling uncomfortable.
I need more space, not around me.
Don't take it personally, it's just a boundary. That's a boundary. That's a boundary. That's a boundary.
everyone has different needs, and we can't read each other's minds. But if we ask before we do something, we won't cross each other's lines. And we'll know what is and isn't fine and say,
I'll stop.
You don't like that.
You're feeling uncomfortable.
You need more space, not around you.
I'm not offended or blue.
That's just your boundary. That's your boundary.
if someone's invading your personal space.
That's a boundary.
Or doing things that make you feel unsafe.
Boundary.
That's a boundary.
Or saying things that make you feel hurt or gross.
Not in front of me.
Whatever affects you most, you need to say something.
Like what?
Maybe like,
Please stop, I don't like that. I'm feeling uncomfortable, I need more space. Not around me, don't take it personally. That's just a boundary, that's a boundary. Please stop, I don't like that. I'm feeling uncomfortable, I need more space. Not around me, don't take it personally. That's just a boundary, that's a boundary.
I'm not trying to be mean. That's just not my scene. 'Cause that's a boundary.
That's a boundary, that's a boundary, that's a boundary.
Wow, what a song. There are some important things that they talked about, like we need to ask before we do things, right? That's when we talked about permission in our story. If we can ask, it's more likely that the thing that we need to happen is going to happen. And remember, setting boundaries doesn't make you mean. They talked about that in the song too. Doesn't make you mean. It just means that you're letting people know how you're feeling. All right, friends, we've got one more activity coming up, and it's going to talk about our safety team. So I'll see you over there. All right, I've got our activity here, and I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. But in today's story, we talked about our safety team. And so, adults, if you want copies of this activity, then reach out to me. I'll put my email in the description below, and I can make sure and send this to you so that you can talk with your child about their safety team. So remember, in the story, they talked about how we have a safety team, and they are the people that we can talk to if someone is crossing our boundaries, so that we can figure out what we need to say to help them stop crossing those boundaries. So you can put pictures of all your safety team in these little shields right here, right? So you and your adult can talk about who can be on your safety team, who is on your safety team, and you can have it filled out right here. Because remember, we don't have to do all this by ourselves. We have important people in our lives that help us do some things. So I hope that this is something you can use to help you talk about who's on your safety team. I had so much fun with you today, talking about our boundaries and how they make us stronger. And I will see you next time, okay? All right, bye.